Hi there. I've decided to try something different with this video, not try to do anything clever or witty or with flashy visuals or anything, because this time I really just want to talk straight from the heart and be sincere and straightforward. And this time I want to do something different too, and not preach to the choir as it were, but talk to Stratfordians this time. And I don't mean like normal everyday people Stratfordians. I'm talking more the vehement, ardent Stratfordians who frankly go ballistic at the very thought of anyone doubting the traditional attribution of Shakespeare. And while I'm an Oxfordian, I want to say that everything I say also applies to our friends and colleagues who might favor other candidates. So, hello, vehement, ardent Stratfordians. I want to say at the beginning, I know that usually when we engage, you engage in a lot of name-calling and personal attacks and insults, and we poke you back. But I'm not going to do any of that this time, because really what I'm here to do is to thank you. And I mean this very sincerely. I want to thank you for giving Oxfordians and doubters in general the most sincere, best compliment you possibly could. And what I mean by that, even without realizing you're doing it, every time you attack us or write a book or article refuting us or flood a website with nasty comments, what you're really doing is you're acknowledging that you think the public at large is likely to find us persuasive and convincing. And I'll give you a parallel story, authorship story, to sort of illustrate that by contrast. Some years ago I went to a conference for the Lewis Carroll Society, and at the time there was this little group of people who believed that Queen Victoria was the secret author of the Alice books. So this group came, they were invited, they presented their case, we all listened politely, they went away, and nobody's ever heard from them since. Because Lewis Carroll admirers and scholars don't feel the need to constantly bring up these people just to bash them. And they don't feel the need to put up websites or write books refuting the proposition that Queen Victoria wrote the Alice books. Far from it, Carolians don't give these people a second thought. And that's how people who are truly secure in their authorship position can behave. So what I'm saying is that no matter what you say about anti-Stratfordians, your actions don't match your words. So if you really think anti-Stratfordians are so lame and weak and ridiculous, why don't you do what the Lewis Carroll people do and just ignore them? And if you really think Oxfordians are so ridiculous, why don't you put your actions where your mouths are and just shut down your Oxford website, say? If you think they're so lame, why do you spend so much time arguing with us? Why aren't you out playing with your dog or your kids or gardening? Why do you waste so many precious moments of your life on us? One of my psychotherapy professors had a message he really tried to instill in us, and it was, what is the underlying message of any action? Because that's where the truth lies. So every time you attack us, you're complimenting us. And every time you try to refute us and write articles and books or flood comment threads, you're complimenting us. Because what you're really saying, the underlying message, is that you think the public is likely to find us convincing. And while you really hate hearing that, I'm sure, that is what your actions say loudly and clearly. There's an old saying usually misattributed to Gandhi, but he won't mind, that first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. So clearly, unlike the Lewis Carroll people, you don't feel you can ignore anti-Stratfordians and Oxfordians anymore, and you've moved on to the fighting stage. So that's really what I want to say. Thank you. Thank you for fighting us. If you were ignoring us, then I'd be more worried. So thank you for acknowledging and saying that you think we have a winning position, because we do too.